it's the end of the day. We're over here in Dexter, Michigan. We got about 45 miles to go in the morning. Today was just a lot of driving. We actually woke up pretty early this morning. We woke up about, I want to say 3:30 or so local time. And got over here. We had, I had about 12 minutes left of driving on my clock today, and I had about 38 minutes left on my 14-hour clock. So today was just a bunch of driving. I got 8 hours for tomorrow, so we're not going to reload tomorrow because I don't have enough time. Our appointment isn't until 11 o'clock, so we're not going to leave here probably at about 9. Get over there about 10, get untarped, and we should be ready for our appointment at 11. So there's Callie. She's waiting for dinner. But let's go outside, and I want to show you what I was up to yesterday. I stopped a little early yesterday in Omaha. I did stop and get my fuel lines for the generator, and I did install them. So let's go outside and take a look at them real quick. All right. It's not exactly what I wanted. I wanted one that had 2-in-1, but all they had were the single ones. So that's what I ended up doing yesterday. And what I had to do is I had to drill a 3/4 inch hole, and then I had to take my hand and stick it down in the cap and get it up under there to hold it as I tightened it up. But one is for supply and one is for return. So but I know, some people talked about, well, why didn't you hook into there? The old truck was hooked into the actual fuel lines of the truck, and that's when I had a problem. So I didn't want to mess with the fuel lines of the truck, and they didn't have a plate thing that went on there. So anyway, that's good enough for me. I'm happy with that. It looks clean, it looks good. So I'll deal with that. But I'll show you what my routine is when I stop at nighttime. So like right now, see if it'll focus, if you can see. Right now the valves are off, and I always turn them off in the morning. That's just part of my morning routine when I'm out walking around checking out the truck, is that I turn those valves off. So I'm going to turn those valves on, and so the generator will be ready to go. But no, those little fuel lines, they were about $62 a piece, and it's okay. I'm happy with it. It's good enough for me. I just wanted to get the generator working, because like I said, I burn up so much fuel just idling. So, all right, let's go back up in the truck. I gotta feed Callie. All right, we're back up in the truck. Today is going to be kind of short, so I thought I would just kind of go through some comments from the last video. I want to, I get a lot of comments, and I try to answer as many as I can, but sometimes I get 300-400 comments. I do read them. I do read them all, so I want people to understand that. So I thought I would go through and try to answer some of the questions real quick. I did want to, I don't know if you guys are on Instagram, and I think she has a Facebook page, but there's a young lady out of Canada, and her on Instagram, she's A_J_Dalton, DALTON. I'll put a link in the description down below. But she takes pictures of trucks, and I mean, she takes the most random pictures of trucks. And if you just like looking at trucks in general, she takes pictures of old trucks, new trucks, trucks in junkyards. So it's pretty entertaining to look at some of her pictures. She gets some pretty interesting trucks. So if you do get a chance, go check her out. I'll put it in the description there for her Instagram. But like right now, I'm looking at one. She's got one she put up, and also she's got one on a bridge. This looks pretty cool. So I believe she's out of Canada. I think she's out of Canada, but she does take some interesting pictures. So, I was going to do comments. I forgot about that. Hang on a second. All right, let's do some comments. Mr. Big R, the pups are going to go nuts without the sleeper windows. Callie, excuse me, Callie, it has taken a little adjustment for her, getting used to the no windows back there, because she'll sit in the seat or she looks out the window and she sees the cows. And what she used to do is she would see the cows and then she would run to the back and look out the window in the sleeper. So it has taken her a little bit to get used to. She wants to get up in the seat. It has taken a little bit for her to get used to, but she's getting used to it. A lot of people were impressed about the tarping machine. That tarping machine was I really like that tarp. It's fairly easy to use and it's really simple, and it really saves having to jump up on the load. So you know, that tarping machine, and not every place has one. I wish a lot of them did. They could be a pain in the butt, especially at a busy place where it might get backed up. But that place actually had 2 tarping machines there where it loaded. Here's a question: can you let Callie off the leash and let her run around? Callie is very easily distracted, and if she catches an eye of something, a rabbit, a mouse, bug, whatever, she goes dead for it, and it's really hard to break her concentration. So, and plus she's a little aggressive around other dogs. So it's just for her safety and safety of others, I'd keep her on the leash all the time, because if she was to take off, there's no way I could break her concentration, and that's just the way she's been ever since she was little. What is the horsepower difference between the old Pete and the new Pete? I think the old Pete, I think it was 475, and this one is a 455. The biggest difference was the old truck was a 15-liter engine, and this is a 13-liter engine. So it's a little bit smaller. And yeah, there's a little bit of loss of power, but it's doing pretty good. Fuel mileage has come up. I know I said 5.71, and somebody made a comment, well, that's not very good. Well, if I was doing that same run with the old truck, I'd be somewhere around 4.5. And as long as I stay above a mile better than what the old truck got on the fuel mileage, I'm happy. This run here, we've been averaging since we got out of the hills out there, right around 6.7. What I have noticed is that when I do the fuel mileage by hand, it's about almost half a mile more per gallon than what the computer says. Here's one. Dan, do some fueling videos. I try to do some at the fuel out, but the problem is if there's other trucks around me, it's loud and noisy. I could turn my truck off, but the other 2 trucks beside me would be idling. I have a couple. If you go way back, I think if you go back to the one where it's way back, me and Teresa went to breakfast in the big truck. We went up to the local truck stop, and I got fuel up there, and I showed all how to do it and everything. Let's see here. Let me find another one. Oh, here's a good one. This is the video prior to when I was going through California scales. Dan or anyone else, I have a few questions. Hope you can answer them. While you were waiting to go through the scales, other dry van trailers just cruised by. Why didn't they have to stop? Also, that empty car carrier went through. Obviously, he wasn't overweight. On the car carrier, there's a bar that goes across the wheel opening of the trailer tractor. See, let me go back to what he was asking about at the California scale. The California scale is one of the scales that it actually has a sign as you enter. It'll say loaded trucks, empty trucks. And most of the California scales, now it's been a while since I've been through a lot of them, but when I used to go through them, on the empty side, they would have a speed bump. And when you went over the speed bump, they could kind of tell if you were loaded or not, if it wasn't obvious if you had a flatbed or anything. But even a van, when it would go over the speed bump, the way the truck went over the speed bump, they could look to see if you were empty or not. But other states, they'll have like the in-ground scales, and if you're heavy, they'll pull you to one side, and then if you're light, you go to the other side. So hang on, let me Let me see if I can find another one here. Here's a question about the steering wheel. Dan, does that leather steering wheel cover slip anyway when you're backing up? No. He said, I used to buy those cheap ones that reinforced with the fancy string work so it wouldn't slip. No, these, I have to look for these particular steering wheel covers, but these steering wheel covers, I've never had an issue with it sliding or slipping. So, and they're usually about 20 bucks for the leather steering wheel. There's another question in reference to the steering wheel. I noticed the old steering wheel had a tag on the bottom to cancel out the indicators, the blinkers. Just like a car, when you turn the wheels, it'll the old Pete did not cancel out. This truck does not cancel out either. You have to manually turn the blinkers on and off. Alright, we'll go ahead and end it for today. This will be a short video, but thanks for watching. Like I said, I read all the comments and everything. I try to answer as many as I can. But I do appreciate you watching, and I do appreciate the interaction. So keep them coming, and I'll read them. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.